Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be testing some theories on how to increase FPS for console Fortnite. And when I say increase, I hope you guys would know what that actually means by now. If you're on PS4/Xbox, no matter what, you're not going to get over 60, unfortunately. But a lot of the time, it's a struggle to even stay at or very near 60, and that's hopefully what these methods will be able to help you with. It's going to be difficult, but I'm going to do my best to test the different theories and try to get as conclusive of evidence as possible about whether or not they actually do anything. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to be testing in this video is actually something that I saw on Twitter a few days ago. A guy named BizikXBL, who, as you may be able to tell by that name, is a console player, and based on the fact that he has over 10k in earnings, he seems to be a very good console player. So he tweeted, "I uninstalled every game besides Fortnite on my Xbox, and my frames do not go below 60 at all. Not even endgame, thank me later." Now, when I read this at first, I was incredibly skeptical to say the least. I thought, alright, this guy's probably just trolling for exposure and interaction, so that's that. But as I started reading the replies to the tweet, I saw him reassure people many different times that he was being serious, like literally 10 plus different times over a 3-day span, because people were still replying to the tweet a few days later. But even after reading that, I was still thinking, you know, it's possible that he could still be trolling, and even if he isn't, maybe he just got really lucky, and the day he uninstalled all the games was just a random good day for high FPS. But then, as I scrolled through the comments, I definitely did see a few that said, "I don't think this will work," or "I doubt this will do anything." But I also found about 5 different people saying they tried the method and it had some kind of positive impact on their Fortnite experience. Here's a tweet from a guy saying, "I deleted all of my games, I went on creative and threw down castles until the map maxed out to 100,000 storage. My FPS while looking at the castles was a solid 45 to 60, whereas before it would have been 20. In pubs, I'm getting 59 to 75 FPS on a regular Xbox, 6 years old." And don't be thrown off by that 59 to 75 part. Sometimes the game will show you you're getting over 60 FPS, so it's totally possible that this guy did see 75, but that's more of a visual glitch than anything. Here's another example of someone saying, "It worked for me, thank you Bizik." And finally, "Bruh, I just installed COD and my input delay got 10 times worse. This tweet saved my tourney on Wednesday, LOL." So at this point I thought, okay, maybe this is actually worth testing. Since I have an external hard drive on my Xbox, this wouldn't really work if I tested it, so I enlisted the help of one of my friends. He has the Xbox One S, so not the most advanced model, which is the One X, but also not the oldest model. So the test we decided to do is similar to what was mentioned in one of those tweets, and also was the method I used in the video I made a few months ago about FPS. He created a world and threw down a ton of structures all right next to each other until the world was pretty much at max memory. This basically puts a ton of stress on the world and really hurts FPS, similar to what would happen in a super chaotic endgame situation. I know it isn't a perfect test by any means, trust me, I do understand that, but it's the only way to make sure no other outside variables impact the FPS here. So once that world was set up, I had him do the test 2 different times. In the first one, his Xbox storage was at roughly 97% full, so pretty much max capacity. Then I told him to do the same test again after deleting all the games that he didn't really play. And after doing that, he was down to just over 32%. So not as low as possible, but definitely a big enough difference from 97% to where if this actually affected something, it would show up in the results. So now I'm just gonna play both of the tests, 97% first and then the 32% one after, and pay attention to the FPS here on screen. So what you saw there is definitely interesting. In the first clip with a 97% full hard drive, I would say the FPS was somewhere around 30. It seemed to flicker a lot between about 15 and maybe 45, but I'd say it was mostly in the high 20s, low 30s. Then, in the second clip, after he deleted and cleared up a bunch of space on his hard drive, it would move more towards the high 30s and even up towards 40. Plus, it just seemed to be a lot more consistent, much less random kind of jumps and falls with the number of FPS like you saw in the first clip. Now, I don't want to jump to any kind of indisputable conclusion here because, like I alluded to earlier, it's just really hard to test FPS on console. However, when you combine what you just saw with some of the other testimonials from people earlier, there is some proof that clearing space on your console does something positive to your Fortnite experience. So my recommendation to all you console players out there would basically be this. If you're on Xbox or PS4 and have digital games you don't really play or a ton of apps on your console because those also take up space, it's probably at least worth a try deleting them, especially if your hard drive is anywhere near full. Worst case scenario, you don't really see a difference, and then you can just re-download the games you want installed, no harm, no foul. The next little method I want to talk about in this video is another one I first saw on Twitter, this time coming from 60 FPS with a Dream, who's actually the top earning console player that I made a whole video talking about. He responded to actually one of the tweets that I showed earlier saying, want to get even better gameplay, remove all your friends, on your Fortnite friends list of course. And then he followed that up immediately after by saying, that's why I only have like 6 people added. Now this is an interesting one because I've actually heard a few people mention this before. And a story I've heard a few people say is that a while back, C-Day had so many friends/pending friend requests on his Fortnite account that it made his game lag and he literally had to make a brand new account because it got so bad. Now, unfortunately, I tried the same FPS test with this to see if there was a difference, but I didn't notice any kind of change in FPS at all. What I did was log on to my main account on Xbox where I have a few hundred friends, made another full memory map, and then loaded up a world. Then I made a brand new account, which would obviously have no friends, and did the same thing. But unlike with the first experiment, I didn't notice any kind of difference in the FPS on the two accounts. But to be fair, I don't think having a ton of friends would be something that hurts your FPS. It would probably just make your game feel more laggy and have a lot more micro stutters, but that's something you can't really test. So my advice for this would basically be, if you have a ton of friends, it's probably worth removing a lot of the ones that you no longer play with, but I doubt this would make a huge impact if you have anything under maybe 1 to 200. And the final thing I just want to quickly revisit is the method I showed you guys maybe 6 to 7 months ago to make your FPS more consistent, which is turning off replays. It even says in the game when you hover over these settings, when on, replays are recorded and stored after each match. Recording replays can reduce performance and take up hard drive space. So just to retest this, I decided to hop back on my account, make another full memory world, and do the exact same test you saw earlier. I'll just play the footage in the background right now, but spoiler alert, I got pretty much the same results as I got back when I made the video the first time. There was definitely a noticeable difference between the FPS I was getting when recording replays was turned on versus when it was turned off. Again, I doubt this is something that makes a huge difference in regular games, but unless you're someone that needs replays for something like VOD review, which I could totally understand, I'd recommend turning them off. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. If you're a console player, what FPS would you say you usually average during games? Just looking for a ballpark estimate. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.